start.
I'm waiting. Hey now, good evening, and welcome to another episode of In the Passenger Seat. I'm your guy, Jack Carr. They call me the Gentleman Jack, and I got with me, as always, my backseat driver, the Midnight Rider. MR, how you doing this evening?
I'm good, man. How's it going?
It's going all right, a little rain, but everything's all nice now. Because we're getting ready to do what we do. Today, we're going to be doing some more double duty today. We got one of them guys that can't just coach one sport. He coaches two sports. We got the head baseball coach at Great Mills High School, and he's also the defensive coordinator for the football team. So he's a head coach on the baseball team, defensive coordinator on the football team. That's double duty right there. I'd like to welcome Coach Mike Lux to the show. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how we doing? Jack
Good, man.
and the Rider, this is great, man.
Doing
Hey,
good, doing good, man.
Yeah, we can have you, man.
So, the way we like to get into it, Coach, I wanna know one of your earliest sports memories. Give me one of your earliest sports memories that helped you be the sports guy you are.
Wow, there's a lot of them. I tell you, one in particular that I think of a lot, and it talks to me about how important sports are to people. Is way back in the day, I'm not going to say my age. I was a young man, and Penn State beat Miami in the Orange Bowl, and the jubilation. I remember my brother giving me a big hug, and I didn't know what was going on. I'm just watching a football game. I'm excited. Football's on. And I just got done playing, my first or second season. But the joy on my parents' face, and then the days leading up to that, seeing the people in the community all with their, Penn State national championship stuff on. And I'm like, wow, sports bring people together. And that was one memory that I was like, wow, man, you just see an entire community, state, region come together for their team's success, and they don't take it for granted. And, growing up in PA with high school football, them towns, it ain't Texas, but there's, maybe 1,000 plus people at every game, and a couple towns close down when it's game time. And, just the excitement around, whether it be football or basketball or any of the sports, the excitement around the community when it brings sports together is probably one of my fondest memories, and one thing I cherish still to this day.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Minute Rider, what you got?
No, I was gonna say it's funny you say that because in my younger years, going to RFK Stadium was kind of that same thing where you just had like a family. So you had your regular family at home, but then you had your stadium family. And that's kind of that's one of those things that I miss about going to games, is you had that other side.
Most definitely did. It's the same thing with me growing up at RFK and then going on up to the Jack. You're right. You got that stadium family, that Commanders or whatever team you're with. It's that family, and it's awesome. Mm-hmm. But I'm familiar with the Pennsylvania side of things. I got family up that way too. Where we at? We're in I can't name all the towns. I'll get them to you soon. But anyway, the football scene in PA, yeah, it might not be Texas or some of them other southern states, but PA football is solid and well attended. So did you get into youth? They got you into youth, Little League and all that at a young age, Coach?
Yeah, I started playing youth football at 8 and started playing youth baseball at 8 and basketball at 8. and I played a little ice hockey for a little while. Good Lord, I think if they put it in a sport, I played it when I was a kid. And it was just, it was just what we did, I even raced BMX bikes for a little bit of time. My brother was really into that, and my brother actually owns a bike shop in PA in our hometown now. So, I mean, like, that was his deal. My sister was into, she did girls soccer and did some other things. So, I mean, we were always going. I don't know. Now with my family, I don't know how my parents did it because we're barely making it to get everyone where they need to be. But, it was one of those things, started playing football at 8 and, almost played soccer. The last minute, there was a switch. Thank goodness. Thank goodness for that kid that said, "Hey, I'm going to football practice. You want to come?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm coming." Because if not, I mean, my whole life would be different. That decision I made at 8, changed everything. But, it was one of those things that we just did. And it was never a question of, kids would ask every now and then, like, "Hey, are you going to play next year?" Like, there was never a question, "Am I going to play next year?" That was yes. The answer was always yes. I mean, that's what I did. And
Right.
it, positive or negatively probably consumed my life, but, I'm happy where I'm at.
Well, Lux, you brought up something that we don't get brought up much here. And this is, we talk about sports and other shows we do talk about sports, but we don't hear BMX mentioned much. And I was a big BMX guy as well. Who'd you ride? What brand bikes did you guys ride?
I had a Hutch. I mean, I had some mongooses,
Much.
but I raced the Hutch. It was my brother's hand me down. He got a couple nice ones, and then he actually turned pro real early, and I got his hand me downs. But my first bike, I think, was a Schwinn, and then I was a mongoose from there, and then I ended up racing a Hutch. Where did you race that down? Did you race down here?
I came down there a couple times. I was in a place, I think it's near Phoenixville. I raced the track over there one time, and then I went. My wife's aunt and uncle got married later. They were boyfriend girlfriend their whole life, but they got married later, and we went out there. I don't even know what town I was in, but right behind the hotel there was a functioning BMX track, and I took my daughter down there. She was probably 8, and I walked her down there and showed her what I used to do. I mean, you sit around the track all day and wait for your heat. You try to get some shade and keep your bike sharp, tighten some bolts. But yeah, I raced Redline. Me and my boy Vu, we was team Redline, ran for Greenbelt Schwinn Shop. And we always did extra work in the bike shops to get our entry fees covered and everything. And so
where'd you race in Maryland?
In Maryland, we was in Rockville. Rockville was my home track. And then Calvert County, and then St. Mary's had one. Calvert County, that was one of my favorite tracks. It was 100% dirt.
St. Mary's is still running. They're still functional all these years later. But I mean, growing up, Rockville BMX was way up here, and that was the shot right there. That was it.
Well, I rode my bike from let's just say College Park to Rockville. Twice. I did it twice.
Oh, I bet.
And kids wouldn't do that crap nowadays, man. That's a hike.
You wouldn't be allowed to.
Yeah, wouldn't be allowed to. I was on the side of 495 and some, I think we went University Boulevard one time and went all the way up through Four Corners. It was something, man. Oh, that's right. You're living in St. Mary's now. You're no longer in PA. So you played ball and everything, and you didn't into high school. What high school did you go to? Did you go to high school in PA?
I went to high school at Cedar Crest High School in Lebanon, Pennsylvania.
Ah.
Okay. So yeah.
Okay. And you played 4 years there?
You're a big Maryland guy, right, Jack? You big University of Maryland guy?
You don't see what's behind me, do you?
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm talking football now. When you were growing up, you were probably a big University of Maryland guy, right?
Yeah. When it's so close to where you live, and my dad's one of the boosters and season ticket holder, but I like Duke.
Well, there was a day in '81 where a quarterback led a comeback against the Miami Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Cedar Crest alum also,
Oh.
Mr. Frank Reich.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
His
Frank Wright, Homer
his-
Esiason, all of them.
his in-laws lived right behind me in the neighborhood I lived in.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it was
I run into Frank at Bentley's. It's like a Frank Wright, Boomer Esiason, Neil O'Donnell Hall of Fame inside of Bentley's, one of the bars there on Route 1 in College Park. So all right, well, let's switch over and give Midnight Rider a chance. What you got for Coach?
I mean,
Midnight
I'm
Rider?
listening to the BMX talk. I mean,
I knew I could run with that. I knew I could run with that because you don't know squat about it.
I'm gonna tell you like this. I had 2 bikes, right? The first one was a red. I don't know the name of it. It was just a red bike. My dad went to drop it off at one of those donation places. It was like they were doing this bike donation at his job. So the lady pulled him aside after she got the bike, and she was like, "Sir, you didn't have to buy a brand new bike." He was like, "No, that's my son's bike. He's had it for 3 years. He doesn't ride bikes that often." And she was like, "Oh my gosh." So when y'all talk bikes, I just back off. You know what I'm saying? I know about bikes.
Okay.
What's that movie? BMX
Okay.
Bandits? Back in the day, I used to call
Yeah.
HBO.
Yeah. Rad is another good BMX movie.
Yep.
Yeah, Lux, I met one of the founders of Hutch a couple years ago. Her son lives right down the street from me.
Awesome.
Me and him were at a mutual friend's birthday party, and I don't know how BMX came up, but I was just like, yeah, no, I didn't like Hutch. Hutch just felt too small for me. I rode the PL20 Redline, and he was like, yeah, I don't know if you know this, but my family is the founders of Hutch. I'm like, huh? A Hutch store? Yeah. He's like, no, the founders of Hutch. And they started out making just components and stuff like brakes and gears and sprockets. And then they went into bikes. So I'm trying to get her because her husband had passed, but I'm trying to get the woman that founded Hutch on our show. I think that'd be a good show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you might get Coach to be your host that time.
Oh, me and Lux will handle it. This is doing rock walls and tabletops.
Just so you know, this is the second show this month. You've talked either. What was the first one? The Fisher show with with golf. Yeah, I had no idea what they were talking about, Coach. They were talking about baiting and all this other stuff. I was like, all right. But no,
we were talking about trolling, and you was like, "What is trolling?"
Yeah, hey, Ryder, I know what troll. Hey, Ryder, I know what trolling you know, though, right?
Y'all ain't right.
Hey, Coach. So high school. 2 questions. You can pick the order you want to do it. Did you play against anybody that went pro? And then just tell us a little bit about your career in high school.
Probably no to the first question. A lot of good players, but no one that went pro. I mean, baseball wise, we saw some guys that I can't remember their names that might have been drafted, but I can't remember exactly who. You hear that like, hey, this guy's going to get drafted. You don't know who he is, but I can't recall anybody football wise in high school. No. College wise, we had some guys that either had a cup of tea or made a roster, whether they were my teammates or they were guys that were against us. But as far as high school goes, I mean, we had some guys in my area, but not the time I was there.
Mm-hmm. And then my other one, then this is back to you, Jack. In terms of coaches, did you have any coaches that kind of inspired you or helped you on your way, on your journey playing football growing up?
Absolutely. From a young age, Tim McLaughlin, Tony LaWorst were young coaches that were, hard, old school guys that, coached you hard and loved you harder. One of those deals, that old saying. I had a couple great baseball coaches, Bruce Stokes, Phil Cardley, John Menser. One was kind of at each level, on up through. We're just great mentors, great people that And then I had my head high school coach Norby Dans, who was head coach for over 40 years. I couldn't imagine it. Like, good Lord. My line coach, Frank Hetrick, coached high school football for 50 years. Just unbelievable people. Dale Umberger and Frank Hetrick became uncles basically to me. I mean, we were so close, even when I was done playing in college. And then I was fortunate enough to go play at Shepherd and, played for Monty Cater, who's in the Hall of Fame. Greg Boyce was one of our line coaches. Ernie McCook, who's the head coach at Shepherd now. With my senior year was his first year there. Jeff Castile, who's now back at West Virginia. Pete Urish. They were just unbelievable human beings for us to be around, and show us. And they're all different, so you get a little bit from all of them, and it kind of molds who you are. Some of them were in-your-face type of guys. Some of them were more cerebral, kind of just, hey, that's not how you should do that. And then, but I think you need all those different kinds to shape you, and I think most people who are in coaching, especially done it as long as or longer than I have, they all have those people, and it's not just one, it's several. Right. It's several that mold you into who you are.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to have a coach, Rudy Burton. Once I got into coaching and coached some basketball, every year I would get a phone call, or every time he saw me, he's like, "Where you coaching that next year?" And one year I didn't have a job. He was like, "Come on over with me, and I got you." So I totally understand that, man. Totally understand.
Well, yeah, no, I can remember a lot of the coaches that got me started as well. You never forget. So football, you played the O-line. Baseball, me and Midnight Rider, both baseball guys. What position did you play, or positions in baseball, Coach?
I played first base. I dabbled as a catcher. I dabbled as a catcher a little bit, but once I'll actually say when I got older, the arm strength wasn't there, and I could hit a little bit. So where do you put the big guy that can hit a little bit? You put him over there. You teach him how to pick balls out of the dirt. You teach him how to field the ball, and that's where you're at. So, no, I did a good job. Actually, like my last couple of years of high school, like Legion ball, ended up playing a little outfield, which was pretty scary. I tell the guy, like, hey, I got 7 steps that way, and every other ball is yours, center fielder. So I ain't going to track one down. So I only got 7 steps. You see it come over here, you better hustle. But no, it was a lot of fun, and like football was always like my deal, but baseball was just fun. It was that non-stress, which people are like how stressful baseball is. Like, oh, you could get out. I would much rather get out than have a coach yell at me that I took the wrong step or let my teammates down because I didn't do my job in football. So baseball was like my chill. My sport that I did, I was active, but it was a very calming sport. And it's funny, the people that know me, they're like, you coach it that way too. I'll fly off the handle in the fall. In the spring, I'm a lot more chill. The baseball kids might not think that, but the kids that are on both teams understand that I'm a lot more chill in the spring than I am in the fall.
Well, the spring, man, you're in a better mood, starting to warm up a little bit, I was a 3-sport player myself, and my favorite sport to play was basketball, just because of the continuing flow of the game. The sport I probably worked hardest at was football, because that's a hard sport, and baseball was probably the sport I was best at. But I was good. I enjoyed playing all 3 of them, and I can understand what you mean. Because like when I played baseball and I played football, the concentration was there 500%. But basketball, the concentration wasn't as much. It was like you said, it was my fun sport, and that hit home a little bit. Good call, Coach. I like that. So high school, then moving on to Shepherd College up there in West Virginia. I'm familiar with that as well. What got you to Shepherd College?
Well, I wanted to major. I wanted to major in physical education, and where I grew up in Lebanon, I mean, Millersville University is right down the street. We were 25 minutes, 30 minutes from Millersville. A friend of our families played up there, and me and my dad would go to a lot of the games. Well, they opened every year with Shepherd. Every year they opened with Shepherd. So we would go to the first game of the year, and it'd be against Shepherd. And I'm like, well, I tell my kids the same thing. You got a choice to make when you go to college. You want a program where you're going to play or you're going to win. If you're going to win, you're probably not going to play a whole lot early. If you want to play, you might not win a whole lot early. So what's the deal? I wanted to win. I didn't care about playing. I'm an offensive lineman. We don't get any glory anyhow. I wanted to win. I wanted to go somewhere where I was going to win. I was going to be successful. I was going to get my degree, all those good things we talk about, find your wife, all those things. They all fell into place there. And I was working a camp. Long story, I'll cut it short. But I was working a football camp, and I ran into a kid that played there. I was also working as like a counselor. And then one of their coaches, Pat Higgins, was working the camp, and we kind of connected. So I went down for a visit and went down for a game. They didn't fare too well. They played Millersville. And then I went down for another game, and they won big. This would have been probably the 94 season. Talked to coach through the off season, went down for a visit. Now, needless to say, I've been on campus 3 times. My mom has never seen the place. It's just been me and my dad. I go down, they offer me, they make me an offer. I accept it. I call my mom and say, Mom, I'm down at Shepherd. They made me an offer. I won't accept it. She said, okay, go ahead. She had no idea where it was, no clue. But it worked out for the best. And, that's kind of how I got down there, and then staying down there. And then my first fall down there, I got injured. We weren't very good. I'm away from home. That thing going to class, I did pretty good academically, but there was just some intangibles. It took me a while to get my feet under me there, but best decision I ever made to go there. Love the program. Still try to get back once a year just to see some people and support them. We actually have a guy that's younger than me coaching here at Great Mills right now, is doing a great job. We played at Shepherd also, so we get to laugh and giggle and talk about the times we had in Shepherdstown. Even though, almost 10 years apart, but we all had the same times. Those
Right.
things don't change.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you said that.
Shepherd is a strong school.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen them play for a championship. I want to say 4 years ago, I think they played.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more than that, but yeah, definitely. It's in the recent memory bank. Let's put it that way. When they played for the national title, that was fun times.
Yes.
I was at the semifinal game. Packed. 7,000 people there. Insane atmosphere. Lost their quarterback.
That was at home, right?
Yeah,
That game was at home, right?
Yeah, lost their All-American quarterback. Lost their All-American quarterback like the third play of the game. Backup comes in and just first pass he throws, he bounces a hitch route, and I'm like, oh geez. And then all of a sudden he caught fire, and they went. They had some local guys from down here playing on that team. That was a great group right there. That was good times. And then though they've been strong. I mean, the backup quarterback for the Bears was a Shepherd guy. So they've definitely had a great run. I like to say since I got there, but everyone wants to say they started the run, but that run started way before I got there.
No, they've been a strong program, and it's near Harper's Ferry, correct?
Yes, yeah, it's actually right over the border. If you go through Sharpsburg, cross the bridge, you're in Shepherdstown. Like it's,
my in-laws live over there.
Yep, I wake up in the summers and my back was to the Potomac River. I mean, that's how it's right on the banks.
You got the Potomac, and then you got the two rivers right there that come down. There's two rivers that join right there. Huh?
I don't think it's called the.
Yeah, it is. You know me. You know me. No, it's not the Patuxent. Is it? I don't know. I've been all up there and doing the John Brown tour up there at Shepherdstown. It's an amazing day to go to Shepherdstown. There's so much cool history and stuff up there. Uh, I love that part of West Virginia myself. So,
real
go
quick.
ahead, Minarada.
No, it's just real quick, and then you go back to your question. It's funny you said that about picking schools because my buddy's son had the opportunity to go to Maryland or Ohio State. And he said, he literally told me, every morning I wake up, I'm in a national championship hunt when I go to Ohio State. And I was like, sounds good to me. Just get me a red jersey, whatever number you wear, and we good. So, totally understand. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, no, my mother-in-law is a big sports person, and she always every year she'd be like, "Oh, Shepherd's in the playoffs." She follows it pretty high. I can't wait to tell her I had a guy that went to school there on my show. So you did 5 years there, and seen, as you say here, you led the nation in rushing. Offensive line needs credit for that. Good job, coach.
We had a really good tailback. We had a really good tailback. Yes.
I'm trying to help fellow linemen out. You know, I'm give some flowers to the fellow linemen, and you just spoiled that bit.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. I was a small spoke on the wheel. That's all. You know, as a player, that's all I was. I was just a small spoke on the wheel. You know, I was happy when it was turning. You know what I'm saying?
Well, coach, you gotta make it sound like y'all were the 90s version of the Hogs or whatever offensive line group you want to say. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm not disagreeing that one, but I'm just saying I was a small spoke on that whole wheel.
No, I know it. You know, the size, as long as that wheel's going round and round, that's all that matters.
Yep.
I was an offensive lineman as well. I played guard and tackle. I used to pull from both spots too. I started pulling. Oh man, I probably started pulling at 9 years old just from watching the Washington Redskins play. My running back loved it, but my coach is like, "What the hell are you doing? Fire off the ball." I'm like, "No, I'm pulling like the Hogs, man. I'm laying out linebackers for junior." Oh, in the last game of the year, my running back, I mean, I was constantly flying around the end, just laying out linebackers and safeties. And the last game of the year, my boy, I laid somebody out and I didn't come off my feet. So I continued running down the field with my buddy Junior, the running back, and he turns around and hands me the freaking ball at the 5-yard line. My second touchdown I ever scored.
There you go.
So the linemen can be appreciated sometime, but most of the time they're overshadowed by other stuff. So did you play baseball at Shepherd as well?
No, I did not. No. My baseball playing days ended when I left for college, and I didn't do I was always training. I never did my buddies were doing the summertime, Twilight Men's League or the slow pitch softball, and I never did it, because I was too focused on the fall, getting ready for that grind. I mean, college football camp is not a nice place at all, especially back then when, we were 2 days from the get-go. And my freshman year, we came in, we had, I want to say 8 practices before the older guys even got to campus. It was not for the faint of heart. I used to tell my mom, I'll call you after our first scrimmage when we have our media day inter squad, because that's about the time I'm going to have, free from going. And, I wouldn't want to do anything else. I wouldn't go back and do it over again. But no, I hung the cleats up, and that was it for baseball.
All right, coach. So you go through college. get to the outside world. How do you get back into coaching? Like, how does that work for you? Like, kind of take us along that journey.
I never stopped. We got eliminated. We got eliminated from the playoffs on a Saturday. It was Christmas. It was Thanksgiving break, and the following Monday, I started my student coaching internship there. Like it was, I never stopped.
Wow.
And I think that's probably the best way to do it. I mean, I was fortunate enough to get the student internship there in 2000, and then worked at camp over the summer. Met some great people. Got a chance to coach at Glenville State for a year. That same camp that I worked over that summer, I met two coaches, Paul Schaffner, who hired me right away at Glenville, and then Dave Ofar got the job at St. Francis. He called me. I didn't want to leave Glenville, but I had to because the pay and benefits was just better. So went up there, and thank goodness because, went up there, got married, had a kid right away, and without benefits, that would have been wow.
Yeah.
Had my first son had a open heart surgery at 2 days old, and
wow,
never saw a bill. The benefits took care of that, so I was real fortunate as far as that goes, and just continued to network and meet people and talk to great people, and was able to get hired from St. Francis to Westchester, and had a good 5-year run there, and then ended up in the world of indoor football, which was a little weird. Not weird, but different. The first game, I'm in the locker room at halftime, and we're trying to make adjustments, and I'm looking at 9 guys.
Right.
Because that's all that was in the locker room. Because only 8 played at a time, maybe 10. I think we had 2, and I'm like, okay. Where you're used to a locker room of, 45, 50 guys just on one side of the ball. And all of a sudden you look up and there's 9 guys looking at you. And it's like, all right, so this is what we're going to do in the second half.
You're looking at your DB and your wide receiver at the same time.
So, yeah, that was a little different. But, yeah, I mean, just that, had a good run and just keeping plugging at it. And had a year where I believe it was 14. I didn't coach in the fall. And when I moved down here in 15, I wanted to get right back into it. And honestly, guys are like, man, I have to coach. That fall of 14 was the best thing that ever happened to me because I came back a different coach. You appreciate things more. You appreciated things because, and I thought like I would be a mess. Like, oh my gosh, how am I going to handle a fall with that? It really wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that difficult. I went to a couple games and that was about it. My son would still, be the manager for the varsity games and stuff. But I just would pick him up after the game. It wasn't a big deal. I remember one time me and my wife dropped him off and went for dinner. Came back, game was over, we picked him up. Like stuff that I would have never imagined, never would have done in a million years. That I was able to do, go out for dinner in the fall on a Friday night. It was so it made me appreciate coaching more, being away. And, the game doesn't change, the people do.
That's
so you talk about when you moved to Southern Maryland in 2015 and you began coaching your sons. I think we might have some friends in common down that way. Number one, I see you were involved with the Senators and the what was that other youth team down there, that travel ball team?
The Hughesville Hustle was the other one he played.
Hughesville Hustle. That's Monk Wells is with the Senators, isn't he? You know Monk?
Yes. I don't because I've been gone for a while. I mean, I still keep in touch with those guys, but I did some work with them. Not necessarily field coaching, but did some work with that organization. And did some work when he was in Hughesville with the Hustle. And there was a good time. I met some great people. Actually, the first guy I called when I got the head coaching job for baseball here was a guy I coached 13 through 15 with there, Rich Lahowski. First person I called, Rich, I just got the head coaching job. I want you to come be my hitting coach.
Wow.
You know, and he was retired, and he was like, yeah. So, I mean, that was a real quick, you know, slam dunk as far as that goes. And I'm fortunate enough to have him. He's a, you know, still in the all-time home runs list at Towson. And he played, you know, back in the 80s. So, yeah, he, you know, great resource for me when I got down here. But, yeah, I started coaching my son when he was little. Could never play football, you know, and the kid still loves it. I mean, he, you know, he's still at games. He was at our opener 2 weeks ago. You know, still loves it, wants to coach it, and you know, we totally are supporting of that one. But started coaching him, and then got into the travel thing. Was like, all right, and then you know, started really digging in and like studying things and really looking at, you know, because I wanted to help the kids. I wanted to help him, but I wanted to help all the kids. So just really trying to get into it, talking to a lot of people, and then you know, start like during COVID. I was fortunate enough. I did some hitting lessons at a cage and started working with the high school kids and some other high school kids from the area because everything was closed. And you know, these kids were still going to go pay their $25 to come in to use the facility. So
$25.
Oh yeah.
That's all you charge, Coach?
Well, that was what the facility charged. I personally didn't get anything out of it but a chance to use the facility. So that was a plus for me. You know, so to be able to let the kids come in and get better. And then I ran the fall team that year, which would have been my son's senior year. And then once he graduated, I, you know, said to the head baseball coach, I was like, hey, want to do this? He's like, yes. And he resigned 3 years later and gave me a great opportunity. And when he resigned, I was like, I'm going to go after this one. I'm going to go get this job now. Go ahead.
You don't have a horse in the race now. Is that what you're saying? You don't have a kid on the team now?
Nope. My son's 22. He I didn't like coaching him at all when he was younger. It was awful. Once he got older, it got better. But he spent 2 years at CCBC Dundalk, and then he went down to St. Andrews in North Carolina, and in the spring they closed. And he had a year of eligibility left, and he had one semester to graduate. And his coach at Dundalk went to Notre Dame, Maryland, so he's up in Baltimore again at Notre Dame, Maryland, and he's going to finish out his eligibility and graduate in May. So, you know, we're definitely proud of him. But yeah, my daughter's 13. She's playing softball. I went to the tournament, her first tournament. She hasn't played any club ball until actually she's 12. She'll be 13 next year. She's going to yell at me because I said she's 13. I went to the first tournament last weekend, and I watched the girls, and I looked at my wife, and I go, I don't want to coach girls. I don't want to. Like, I know myself, and I know everyone says girls are easier, but I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
No, it's not. No bullshit. No, sir. No, sir. I'm sorry. Somebody lied to you, son. I've been a baseball guy. And I coach ball. It depends on what age, Midnight Rider.
Yeah.
And I coach ball. And then I coached ball before I even had kids. And then I had a daughter. So she played soccer a little bit. She played field hockey a little bit. You know, when they're young, let them play everything. Anything they want, let them play it.
Yep.
Because they're going to eventually figure it out by the time they're about 11 or 12, what they want to get down with. So my daughter wanted to do softball. And it was tough because I only have one kid, so I only have one shot. So I think I was teaching her too much advanced stuff at 9 years old. And I realized it when she was 13 years old. You know what I mean, Coach?
Yep.
So, but the girls, them attitudes, you gotta set your calendar if you can, so you know. And teaching them stuff, Coach, is not the same. The swing is not the same.
Nope.
You can't come through this chest area with women. It's just, I learned that after 3 years. I coached basketball, softball for 6 years, and then I went back to baseball.
Yep.
So, yeah, coaching your kids not the easiest thing, and I'm a coach's kid too. So I know what you're talking about. But I couldn't sit in the stands and watch the coaches that were trying to teach my daughter go on any longer. I was like, y'all need an assistant coach or something. And a year later, I'm running the whole damn program. I'm the director a year later. I'm like, how'd that happen?
I'm the guy that sits way down the first baseline. As far away from everything as I can get. And just
so you can grumble and nobody hears you.
If my 9-year-old wants to go to the bathroom, I take her. If she wants to do anything else. Now, when my son was playing, no, I'm not going anywhere. But now it's a little different. And not to take anything away from my daughter, because she's light years ahead of where my son was at this age. Like, she's so much ahead of where he was. But it's just different. It's just I'm in a different place now than I was then. You know what I'm saying? I'm a different person now. There's 10 years between the two. So, I'm a whole different person than I was 10 years ago.
Yeah. All right. So give me I had a chance to do it again. Go ahead, Mid. Go ahead, Ron.
I'm going to say, give me a look into the window. Give me, like, the defensive coordinator and the baseball coach. Like, what are those two people like for the kids?
The kids after today would probably say the defensive coordinator is absolutely nuts.
You're supposed to be nuts.
They would say that guy, he's demanding, but he holds us accountable. Demanding in the stretch that, like, and I'm kind of this way in both of them. Like, I want it done 2 minutes ago, not now. Like, I want it already completed, because we're on a time crunch. Parents want to get their kids home. Parents want to be done. So, like, when I set practice, we have till a certain time. I don't have time for certain things, If it's football related, we're going to go. That's what time. We're here during the school day if we have other matters that need to be taken care of. But I want to get going and keep going. And there's a high intensity there. And I think that's a lot of it. But there's always time for a hug. There's always time for me to tell them that I care about them. And I think they know that. Baseball coach, again, accountability's still there. But the one thing I tell all the kids is you're going to know that I'm authentic. Kids can tell. Kids know. Kids know when there's a coach that's putting his coach face on, and when there's a guy that's just being real. And I try to be the same guy all the time. Whether it's on a Tuesday afternoon in the summertime or Friday night at 6:30. I try to be as much of consistency as I possibly can, because they can see that. And, I tell them all the time, like, I really look at you all as my kids also, and I tell them all the time, like, my job as your coach, people may think it's to win games, but my job ultimately is 5, 6, 7 years from now, depending on their age. I want to see you in the community and, hey, what are you doing? Hey, I'm working here. Hey, by the way, coach, this is my fiance, or this is my wife. Hey, this is my wife, and here's my kids, and you can tell that they're excited about being a great father, a great role model, a great, husband, a great person in the community. Then I can sit back and say I succeeded. No matter how many games we won or lost. I mean, because you can go 10-0 and have a bunch of, knuckleheads. That's what you got, a bunch of knuckleheads. I mean, there's the whole one that was out about the team in Texas, Carter, Dallas Carter. I don't know if you guys seen it, I mean, hey, great football players, but, yeah. 3/4 of them were, spending life in prison, you know what I'm saying, because of bad choices.
Oh, that football team, yeah.
And that's where, I don't want that situation for my kids. I don't want my kids to feel that way. And I know some people be a guy, you call them, they're my kids. That's what they are. I know they have parents they go home to, and I know that, that, but, they're my kids, and I'm going to take care of them as long as I can.
We gotta clip that, Jack.
It was
40
good. That was definitely
like the 42-minute mark. I think we got to clip that for the TikTok thing.
it's in my notes, brother. I got you. So down there in Southern Maryland, baseball and softball is blowing up. And I know a few other coaches that are responsible along with you. I believe H-Town, they got a state championship last year.
Yep.
Chopticon got a state championship last year in softball and maybe baseball too, did they?
Last year, Huntingtown won the state championship in baseball in their class.
Baseball.
Chopticon lost in the state finals. They had a great year. David Sapp does a great job. Softball team won. They do a great job.
Mm-hmm.
David Sapp does a great job with the baseball program. Leonardtown won in softball also. So, I mean, we have 3 schools in St. Mary's in public schools, and 2 of the 3, won a state title. The year before that, Austin Guy at Leonardtown, they won the state title. So I guess, I got to get off the snide here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because those other guys, they're all getting it done. And I guess, maybe I got to talk to them more and figure out some of their secrets. But, I mean, we're just proud of that. I mean, Patuxent right across the river. Keith Powell does a great job there. Guy Smith
over there in football.
Yep, Crowns does. I mean, Calvert County high school football, probably the best county in the state. They got 4 schools. Northern was a quarterfinalist last year. Calvert, don't quote me on this, but Calvert went pretty far.
No,
and then Pax and Huntingtown both played for state titles. I mean, that's one county, But down here, we always say
Cunningham, right? Isn't that Justin Cunningham over there at Huntingtown?
Justin's at Leonardtown. Yep.
Leonardtown. Okay.
Justin's a good friend of mine. I actually, he's probably going to laugh at me tomorrow morning on this podcast, just like I laughed at him the morning after his.
Hey, as long as you ain't laughing at us, we cool.
Right. No, you're good, but no, great.
Uh-oh.
Mm-mm.
I think he froze on us.
You hanging, Coach?
So right now we got Coach Lux. Looks like we got him back. See if we can pull him up and finish it out. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Hey, let's just rap about some of the stuff Coach Lux has been telling us about, man. I mean, like we've been saying from some of the interviews we've had in these past 50 interviews we've done, Midnight Rider, we've had a lot of coaches from down there in Southern Maryland, regardless of the sport. They're definitely starting to thrive down there in sports.
Well, the funny thing is, all right, he's just gone now. The funny thing is he starts naming names of schools. And as a kid, I remember all the names of those schools because, my dad would get off from doing his route at 3, come in, take a quick nap, somewhere between 4 and 5. He's got his gear on. He's heading out the door. So I've been, if memory serves me correct, I know I've been to Chopticon. He let me go with him there one night. And I think I was at something else. I don't remember all those places, but yeah, we had a good time, man. I was trying to see if we could get him because I've been curious what his question would have been in the U-turn. See what he would have asked us. But yeah, good.
But like I was saying though, just to be a spring sport at a high school and have both of your teams go to the state championship in the same year, I find that amazing. I'm pretty positive it was Chopticon and Huntingtown that sent 2 teams to the spring championships this year. And I gotta get set up and try to get those 2 coaches on this show because I'd love to talk about how the feeling and the vibe was at their high school. Had to been rocking because you're already rocking when you got one team going to states.
Right.
So I'm not sure if Coach is going to get back in. I sent him a text, told him some I gave him some info and things to try. He hasn't got back to me yet, and
well, I know he was still at the school, so he may be ready to also get out of there. So we may not want to hold him.
That's right.
We may not want to hold
That's
him.
right. That's right.
Maybe you shoot him a text
Yeah.
and say we're gonna head out, and then we get you. I mean, we can always try to get him back to close it out.
Yes, definitely. We can make it up to coach, and we'll get him back in some capacity, whether it be playoff baseball, playoff football. He seems like a good candidate for either type of talk with us. So,
or he could be yeah, for sure.
You know, and Coach Lux, sorry this had to happen, but we will make up for it, Coach. So, Midnight Rider, you got anything else? I'm gonna go ahead and close out. This is the first time this has ever happened to us. So,
hey man,
I've handled it right way.
Done a little bit of everything with this, I think we had something similar on Pretenders and Contenders. So yeah, but let's preview tomorrow night. 7:30 start.
Yeah, you do that.
Right now the slate is, he says quick hits. I don't know what quick hits means. The Washington Stadium approval will definitely be in there. The WNBA playoffs, and then we'll preview the Miami Dolphins versus the Bills. And then we said we want to talk about NFL injuries. That was from Tuesday night show, but I don't think we need to get into that on this one. I think we need to say that for next Tuesday.
Yeah, why are we starting at 7:45? Do you have any idea?
Jack, we're starting at 7:30, Jack.
7:15.
If we can get in at 7:15, sure. But I think 7:30 is the latest. If I get in at 7:15,
too late.
Yeah, if I get in at 7:15, I got you, Jack. We can get started, and then if KG wants to join at 7:30 or whatever, but yeah, we got too much because maybe at 7:15 we preview tomorrow's games, and then we go from there. But let's go ahead and get wrap this up. We want to thank Coach Lux for his time.
Okay.
Thank you for him just being on with us. Great interview. We, as you guys could tell, we're at the 50-minute mark. He probably could have gone for another 50 if we allowed him to. Jack, it's all yours, man.
All right, now, Midnight Rider, thank you for another great show, partner. I couldn't do this without you. You my guy. We want to thank the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network for making all this possible. We got a guest next Wednesday. We're really shifting gears now. We're bringing in a top 10 nationally ranked cornhole player. My man's been on ESPN, Home Team Sports, NASN. He's been everywhere, baby. We got Jordan Campbell coming to the passenger seat next week. I'm so excited to have Jordan on the show because I remember, it was at least 4 years ago. I'm sitting there, cornhole on ESPN. What? So I start watching it, and I see a name that rings a bell. So I text my friend I went to high school with, and sure enough, he said, "Yeah, that's my son." At the time, he was like ranked number 7 in the country. I'm not sure where he is now, but I'll have all that information for you next Wednesday. So all you cornhole cats out there, I can get some information how you can get out of that American Legion Hall and maybe go out nationally and show your talents. Tune in next Wednesday, 8 p.m., Cornhole Spectacular. All right, Midnight Rider, you about ready?
Looks like Coach just jumped in.
Fellas, I'm sorry, man.
Oh, that's fine. We just closed out, but we want to thank you for coming in. And me and Midnight Rider here had a little discussion since you've been gone. We're gonna get you back for either a postseason MLB show or a NFL pick'em show on a Sunday. So we'll get you back on the show to make up for that 10-15 minutes you lost there, Coach.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My hotspot went out, and I thought it was charging because the internet at school won't let me do your deal.
Well,
I feel bad.
I know.
No, you good, man.
I know you wanted. you wanted to fill us in a little bit about the family you have down there in Southern Maryland. Can you tell us a little bit about your family?
Yeah, I mean, I have my son. Like I said earlier, my wife. I couldn't do anything without her. But again, my in-laws are ridiculously crazy, awesome, supportive of everything we do, and just like our extended family here at the school is so great. Like our administration's awesome. Because I really got my wife's family. I mean, my brother's up in PA, my sister's up in PA. My parents are both gone. So it's like that's what we got. So my kids are the baseball kids, and my brother and sister's kids are the lacrosse kids. My one nephew's at Duke. Is
Go Duke.
Yeah, he's going to be a senior on the lacrosse team. He's a 3-year starter. This year will be a 4-year starter.
And who is this? Your nephew?
My nephew, yeah, Henry Bard.
I'd like to have Henry on the show.
Well, I'll let him know.
What do you think?
I think
Please
he'll do it.
I'll follow up with you on that.
Yeah.
I'll follow up with you. We need some more lacrosse.
Yep. One just finished playing at Lebanon Valley, and the other one just started at Drexel. So, we got a lot of stuff, got a lot of good stuff going on right now with us, and it's exciting. It's exciting times. My youngest, she'd be mad if I didn't say she does gymnastics, and she's pretty good at it, but she's a great hitter. She just won't play softball. So I'm leaving it at
that. You still got time, Coach. You still got time.
Yeah, but now she.
All right. Well, we was wrapping up, and like I was saying, our next guest on the show, Coach, is a top 10 ranked cornhole player in the country. And you've seen cornhole on ESPN before. I know you have.
Yep.
And we're going to have Jordan Campbell on next week. So if you got time, tune in. You can get your cornhole stuff, get your cornhole facts on. I'm a horseshoe guy. I'm not too good at cornhole. I throw shoes. But not many people throw shoes anymore.
Right. Jack, you're old school guy. We got you.
I am. I admit it 5 times. All right, Midnight Rider. And thank you for coming on, Coach. We will definitely see you again, Lux.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Right.
Thanks for doing it.
All right, Midnight Rider. It's about that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's roll out.
All right.
Come on, hit that thing.